Turkeys could be affected due to a lack of seasonal workers. They say the new visa changes, which allow foreign workers to enter the country from abroad, have come in too late. Well, John Ironmonger is at a turkey farm for us tonight. John.
Mo, the past few days, headlines have been dominated by panic at the petrol pumps, and that's in spite of the fact that, by all accounts, there is no fuel shortage in this country. But English farmers have been bemoaning for months the dearth of cheap labour from the continent, which has been exacerbated by the pandemic. Horticulture, flower packers in the Fens, for instance, are struggling to meet demand, but it's the poultry industry in particular that's under pressure in the run-up to Christmas. Farms like this one, Franklin's in Sandy, and the government is keenly aware of the problem because they've granted 5,500 temporary visas to EU poultry workers. That's 500 more than they're giving to HGV drivers. But will it be enough?
We've got 4,000 altogether for the Christmas market.
At Southall Turkeys, a family-run farm in Great Barford, the entire year's profits hinge on 2 weeks and 10 Polish workers. And after months of uncertainty, now the promise of some temporary visas for poultry workers from the EU is a needed lifeline.
We're hoping we will qualify for those visas because we do rely on foreign overseas workers for the busy season.
And it's not feasible then to hire English workers, you know?
No. We did many years ago, but they became so unreliable. And obviously we've got a deadline to meet, so we need reliable staff that will turn up, 8 o'clock in the morning, finish 8 o'clock in the evening.
The British Poultry Council says English farms have historically relied on EU labour, but after Brexit it's more difficult and expensive to use UK workers.
I think the government is keen for employers like you to invest and to pay UK workers more to increase the workforce. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, well, that will be a cost to us, but for now, it's a short-term problem we need to sort for this Christmas.
Here we're in the slaughter room here. The birds come in from the lairage through the door behind me and they're hung on the shackles and they're stunned and bled, and then they go into the de-winging machine, which takes the large feathers out the wings.
A few miles away, Franklin's farm in Sandy usually employs 10 Romanian poultry workers to process turkeys and geese at Christmas time.
And the labour is required to generally strip the wax off the birds and so that we can have the throughput per day that we need.
It's typical in autumn to see reporters trudging about on farms with geese and turkeys, romanticising the run-up to Christmas. But the simple fact is that slaughtering, plucking and processing these birds is challenging and smelly work.
You've got to hit the ground running, and we use the East Europeans because they've been before, they know what to expect, they're not fazed by it, and they get stuck in. We would like to pay more, that's all got to be passed on to the consumer, and it's an easy thing to say. Some of my answer to that is, well, maybe we'll employ less people and get more mechanised, and then that doesn't solve the problem either.
The big broiler farms in our region are under much more pressure to recruit, with production already down 20%, while at Franklin's, concern about a shortage of geese and turkeys this year has sent bookings through the roof already.
Do you think the government has really thought this through about the impact of labour shortages on the farming industry?
Well, we hear a lot about just in time with the fuel and the supermarkets and all that, and it's just in time again, isn't it? There's no planning. We need a long-term solution for this problem.
Well, the temporary visas will become eligible in early October until December 24th, and ministers say that they'll be made available via the temporary workers route, though how they'll be allocated and whether producers have to sort of apply centrally for workers, that's still unclear, and we should know more in the coming days.
John, thank you.
Good report.
Well, queues